Welcome back to AFTV, everyone. This is the starting 11 show. In 30 minutes' time, we'll know what the starting 11 is to face Tottenham in the North London derby. Keep winning our games, hope for a slip-up, and we can be champions. It's that simple, eh? Welcome, Laurie. Welcome, Christian, back to AFTV, and welcome, Turkish. We're all wearing, well, I was about to say we're all wearing red. We're all wearing Arsenal, and we know it's derby day today. But I came in, and the usual, how we feeling did the round. Some people behind the scenes aren't on camera, bloody nervous, and I get it. Anyone else here really nervous? I don't feel that like derby day stress I normally feel. I don't know what that is, but
no, I know what you mean. I think I don't want to put a downer on it. Like, I'm excited for the game. It's a big game, but I've seen it billed as the biggest one in 20 years. The biggest. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not in our hands, and I think that is why that little buzz is missing from me today. Don't get me wrong. It's still a big game, and we need to win it. We need to put pressure on City. But there's a very realistic scenario that we could smash Spurs today. We could win 5-0 today, and by the end of the day, City are 1 point behind us with a game in hand, and we don't win the league.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's in there. It's not in our hands. If we beat Villa and this was to go 7 points clear, it's a different story. I'd be buzzing.
Yeah.
And I still am. I'm still excited for the game, and it's still a big game. But I think the little butterflies in my stomach is just dwindling because of that.
That could be it for me, and this doesn't actually make any sense because technically the fact that we're in a title race should only up the pressure. But normally derby day for me, it almost doesn't matter what's going on in the season. It's just we must beat Tottenham. Whereas today, they don't feel like our noisy neighbours that we're desperate to overcome more than they feel like just another hurdle we must overcome if we're to win this title. So for some reason that kind of almost waters it down. Or it's either that or Arsenal just filled me with confidence because they've been playing so well. Where are you, Turkish? Because you've watched many a derby. Like, where does this rank for you in terms of the nerves, the apprehension, the feeling going into it? Can you understand why for some it's not as built up? I don't know.
You know what it is for me, yeah? North London derby is huge. Arguably the best derby, you know.
I think it's the best for
but
pure
I think,
entertainment.
yeah, I think this one's different, special, unique in a way, because it's like the North London derby element of it is like the seasoning. It's not the main dish. The main dish is we are in a title race with 3-4 games to go. That's what I'm nervy about.
Yeah.
The seasoning doesn't help because it's Tottenham, it's the North London derby. Not necessarily nervy because I feel like we've got all the tools necessary to be able to carve them open and win today. But I've also seen us have the tools to crumble.
Yeah.
So I'm just nervy because of the situation. Finally, we're back in a title race. This is the nerves I've been after for years.
Yeah, of course.
You know, this is what I want. This is what I want to be feeling.
Yeah.
Because now, any points dropped, regardless if it's Tottenham, regardless if it's Bournemouth, regardless of who else we got, we're out of it. And as much as those nerves are exciting, and you know, we've wanted that for so many years, there's also the element of the season could be gone just like that.
Yeah. How are your nerves, Laurie?
In terms of nerves, my nerves are okay. And the reason why my nerves are not too bad is because I'm very confident about this game. But in terms of the actual fixture, for me, it's a massive. It is, to me, it is the biggest derby the last 20 years. It's all or nothing. It's do or die. And the reason why I say that is because obviously we're going for the title. But then you've got to think about Tottenham. They're at home, and you know what I mean, they've got a big prize looming in front of them as well, which is top 4. Now, if you're a Tottenham fan, or you're connected with a club, what better way to try and cement your top 4 place than to be instrumental in stopping your closest hated rivals from winning the title? So when you add all those ingredients, to me, it is the biggest derby.
Big result yesterday, Chelsea taking points off.
Yeah, that's
Villa
true.
as well.
Yeah.
That is true.
It's an extra incentive for them.
That has a chance of keeping the City game important for Spurs, but
that's true.
That is one to look at in the future, of course. Actually, almost whatever happens in this game, that might have kept that game alive, because obviously if they beat us, then that definitely keeps the City game alive. Obviously not what we want. I don't know. I had a Saturday away from football. I went to visit a friend, and I was just like, cool. I didn't watch any of the live games. I was just, away for the day, and it was great. So I don't know if maybe just like getting back into it, and when I see that 11 and the players are out there warming up, I'll start to feel it. I just feel like today for me, of course, beating Tottenham, if we do, is always great. I love it. I always get so pumped for derby days. But for me, today is about staying in the title race. Like, that is just all I'm really thinking about. And I do feel like we're one more slip up away from it basically being done, which sounds crazy, but...
Well, if we don't win today, then
I think City still have one slip in them, but do they have two?
Yeah, but the one slip is what allows us to come back in it.
I know.
So, the Aston Villa game already put us into a City have to slip up once.
Yeah.
Any more points dropped, then it's over.
And you know what? I genuinely, and I heard you saying it the other day, I thought the slip was coming against Brighton. And I watched that game so hopeful that Brighton would do something. And City's
actually,
Same.
So I actually didn't think Brighton was their slip up, just because I thought stylistically, if I said that, I was wrong. No, I'm looking at Forest today. I know we can always say that, then they'll beat Forest, and then I'll go, but Fulham. Forest for me are stylistically more equipped to stop a City for what they do best and where their weaknesses are. But we've got to get there. We've got 2 hours to do our bit. And then we'll be on full time, and you can all have your say by downloading the FATV Plus app and join us on FANZONE. We'll be live on full time. Keep an eye on that, and it will be a have your say after this game, but also let's watch what happens there. So that's going to be a big one. But of course, all eyes on this game. But before all eyes were on this, it was about whether Liverpool would respond. Since we last kicked the ball, Liverpool picked up 1 point from 6 in 2 away games. I kind of just want everyone's thoughts and feelings on the title race. Unless we have to do our job, but it's really a 2-horse race now. Do we agree? Like that's that for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yep, and then there were 2. That's the famous phrase.
Yeah. It caught up with Liverpool. I think it's something like 26 or 27 points from losing positions this year. We've heard everyone say it. That's not title-winning form, you know. And I think even the level of their squad, I think they've. I know Jamie Carragher said it the other night on, I think it was Monday Night Football, that they've overachieved, and I think they have. They came 5th last year.
It'd be nice if they gave us some of that courtesy when we...
No, I agree, but there's...
Carragher, what do you expect?
No, but there's a difference. Like, I do see it. I think there's more put on Arsenal, and I think last year there was none of the, they overachieved, they've done really well. It was more of the bottle. But the level of football, our standard last year was so high for most of the season, whereas Liverpool's standard, I don't think has been that high. They've just been, in a lot of games, pulling results out. So I think that's why they're now getting these labels of overachievers, because we've seen games where they haven't looked that good, but they've still managed to pull out results, whereas we looked great last year, and then our performances drastically fell off.
I just don't think they ever looked defensively reliable, Liverpool. Like, the thing I find so impressive about Klopp is that I didn't think their squad, especially because they didn't sign like that £50-60 million defensive midfielder and replace Fabinho, I thought, they'll be a good side, but they won't just quite have enough for the title.
Yeah.
It's proved that way. But they also did stick around longer than I expected them to, and I think that's Klopp's genius. Mm-hmm. But then I look at, they still scored 3 goals at Fulham. They still scored 2 goals yesterday. They had chances at Everton. Really that should have been maybe 7 points out of 9. But it wasn't, because ultimately they can't really defend. And that's what Arteta's built a lot of his foundation on this season. He's looked at last season and gone, we've got to be able to shut teams out. How many games in a row away from home since we conceded a goal?
6.
This
would be 7. I think it would be a joint.
That is
record,
incredible. If Spurs don't score today, it'll be 7 clean sheets on the road in a row. That's unbelievable. Did City ever do that at their best? Maybe.
I think City have the record. I think it's either City have the record at 6 or 7. So we're either going to equal it today or beat it today. I don't quite know which.
Yeah, but that,
But it's ridiculously impressive, man.
And final thing on Liverpool, whatever I make of the Klopp and Salah stuff, and then you've always got opinions on this stuff.
I've got opinions on everything, man. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because when Klopp made that announcement that he was leaving the club, the common consensus was this is going to galvanise Liverpool to do big things. And then, of course, they won the trophy, and everybody was talking about, at that time, potential doubles and trebles and all the rest of it. And in recent weeks, you've seen little things that suggest that things might not be as perfect as we're led to believe. And then, of course, yesterday, what that showed me is that although football is a team game, I always say this, football is a team game, but it's played by individuals, and they've got their own individual aspects on things. So Salah was clearly And he may well be in the right to feel aggrieved at not starting and coming on so late. And that obviously was in the back of his mind. Klopp said something to him, I don't know what it was, and then he's responded. So he's got a lot off his chest. So, and then he said afterwards, didn't he? He said, if I say what, somebody asked him what was said, and he said, if I say what was said, there'll be fire. So, again, you know what I mean? Egos, that's what you get.
What do you guys think of it?
If I take a really unbiased, neutral approach to it, which the internet finds it hard to do at times, yeah. It's quite unfortunate to see to have not that, because I think that's natural to do what they've done together over the years, the loyalty they've both shown to each other over the years as well. It works two ways. They're close. These things happen with friends. These things happen with family, with all of us. They're just in the public eye, and that moment was screened everywhere in the world. Now, obviously, there's a case of, Salah should have remained professional and whatnot. But listen, the era is literally coming to an end, and it's coming to an end in not the way they would have hoped, So I think it was just a bit of frustration. Salah's probably not happy he's not starting. He's thinking when he's coming on, listen, we're still losing the game. Dropping me didn't really do much. So there's a bit of frustration. Should he have shook Klopp's hand properly? He still tapped him. Klopp knew that wasn't enough because he knows how close they normally are. And it just got screened, and now people want to tear it all down. Listen, they're both legends.
He's a great player, right? I've got no hesitation to say that, and he seems like a really good guy. However, there has been things said about Salah in the past that he's selfish. I mean, if you remember when Mane was there, him and Mane kicked off. People had to get involved. Remember when Mane was, and that was because allegedly Mane felt that Salah wasn't passing to him, or could have passed to him on occasions and opted to shoot. And that upset him. So there, there are little things, and there's always things going.
You've got to have a bit of that, though. That's what
you could.
Like sometimes I look at Saka and I wish he was a bit more like that. And I agree with Turkish. I don't think it was anything to go crazy about. These are two top professionals. This is a high pressure, intense scenario. Salah's obviously upset that he's on the bench. He's about to come on. Liverpool concede. It goes 2-2. Klopp's probably said, why weren't you quicker? I wanted to bring you on before the goal. Salah said, well, why didn't you start me? And then, do you know what I mean? It's nothing to go crazy about, man.
King Gunner with Super Chat says he's loving the outfit today. Turkish, come on, you Gunners. Another Super Chat.
Not often I wear yellow, innit? So it's usually black.
What's that?
Not often I wear colours.
That's true, actually, yeah, that's a good point. Grey or black, or a darker grey.
Yeah.
Hats that match all of them.
Yeah.
We've got Super Chat. The last team that scored against Arsenal was Forest in January, so that must have been away from home. Yeah, of course, that makes sense.
Yeah, even that was a consolation.
Yeah. And that one really annoyed me, because Saliba just got a bit nudged off the ball.
Yeah.
Speaking of nudged off the ball, what did you think of the Badia Shield foul that denied Chelsea the winner against Villa? It's divided opinion.
Yeah, it divided my opinion.
Like, yeah.
The first time I saw it, I thought, no way, that's a foul. I think
it's but the thing when you start seeing it over, it's a subconscious thing that is just drilling into you. Is there something there?
Because he doesn't play. There's no attempt to play the ball. He literally moves the man like that. Ball comes down and then he puts it in. So
that's why I think, I used to be an advocate of VAR, but I don't mind taking it away now because I don't mind someone getting it wrong if it's their first instinct.
Yeah.
But it's the constant replaying of it, slowing it down, pausing it, showing the ref where it's paused, and it's just like
for me, it's the inconsistency of the application of it. So they go, we want to do the clear and obvious thing. In theory, that kind of makes sense. We're sticking with what the ref goes with, unless it's an absolute howler. But then they'll look at the Kai Havertz one against Man United, where there is contact, but they're looking so hard. Did Havertz wait and initiate the contact? It's not clear and obvious. You've given the pen, so you should stick with it, because when you saw it in real time, that's what you gave. And when I look at this one here, I think, okay, there probably is a bit of a foul, but it's also one of those that the refs should know in the moment. When you see a little nudge, the ref goes, foul. They just know it, like, you pushed him. And then before Desar's hit, it's all happened quite quickly. But refs can react quite quickly. The minute he has it, he's allowed it to play. You clearly didn't think in that moment that it was a foul. So I feel a bit sorry for Chelsea in that sense. And then, of course, when you see the Gabriel 2 hands to the back of the head against Newcastle, you go, oh, so that wasn't clear and obvious, but that was. So they just make a mess of it. I'm with you. I was an advocate for VAR, but they don't know how the hell they want to use it. And I'm actually sort of largely okay with most ways. Just pick one and show a degree of consistency.
Do you know what the
and
problem,
quality in your refereeing, because it's not there.
The problem there with consistency is football is objective, right? Me and you can have different opinions. Turkish and Laurie can have different opinions. It's not the same person on VAR every single week.
Yeah.
If it was, maybe there'd be more consistency. But every single different person has their own opinions.
Yeah.
So what one VAR official is going to say say that's a clear and obvious foul, you might not say that's a clear and obvious foul. So,
yeah.
But I completely agree. Yesterday was not clear and obvious. I'm glad it was ruled out because I wanted Villa to win because I don't want Spurs to get top four. I want more pressure on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, for consistency in the league, I didn't like it.
Fair enough. Well, we've done well enough to distract ourselves from the North London derby the last 10 minutes. Let's get back to it. Umar says hashtag anxiety level fans and hashtag anxiety level fans and players. What are you saying, that there's anxiety through everyone? I actually think the players will be fairly relaxed. I don't know why. I mean,
well, the players should be in a good mood of confidence because let's face it, they're playing really well. Spurs haven't played for a couple of weeks. One of their key players is out today injured. And there is a lot of pressure on Spurs as well. It's not like one of those games where it's all about stopping Arsenal. They're playing for something important as well. Even as much as the manager, Postecoglou, is trying to play that bit down, they know that top four means an awful lot to that club.
So agreed. Great strike from Çalhanoğlu to give already champions into the lead. They did what Arsenal have done before, which is win the league in the derby away from home, of course, San Siro.
Did you see Leverkusen again yesterday?
Oh my God, these guys.
96th minute equaliser. It's like every week they find,
if they do
find a way.
The invincible treble, that's it. That will be the greatest achievement.
But you know what that tells me though
surely.
about those late winners and equalisers and stuff like that is that there's a science to that. To me, that tells me how fit their players are, both physically and mentally.
That's true.
Because it's no coincidence, isn't it? When you get a team that's scoring late goals like that, it's not luck. It's because they're fit. Yeah. It's because they're mentally tuned in. Because some teams switch off.
It's not just in the league, they did it in Europa League. They 2-0 down in one game, came back and won 3-2.
Ryan says, Turkish, that tracksuit is cold, come on Arsenal. Jamie McFadden says, have you seen Timber starting for the under-21s again? Yeah, I think give him 20 minutes and then get him over to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for the second half. Zoda Khan says, he's not a fan of the outfit, so there's debates.
No
Zoda Khan's not a fan. That's okay. I love the outfit. Hanksy says, remain unchanged today, Martinelli on at 60 minutes. Okay, so let's do it. Let's tackle the starting 11 conversation, because I'm an advocate for Jesus starting this game, and it's unpopular with some because Martinelli is the guy who, if you're going to make any changes, you feel you bring him in because of his pace, what he offers. There are questions around, not questions, I mean Kai Havertz, not great first half against Chelsea, clinical as anything in the second half. Trossard, of course, been very clutch. But Jesus and his work rate, that we might need them if we're trying to press them and force errors and transition moments, deep in their half. I'd start Jesus. What big changes would you make to the 11, Laurie?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I would start Jesus, but there's only one problem. There is absolutely no way that manager's going to leave Havertz out of this team.
That is true.
Whatever we say is kind of redundant. We knew that anyway, but yeah, I would like to see Jesus come in because I think his extra trickery up front. He's a little bit quicker off the mark than Havertz. I think over a longer distance sprint, Havertz might take him. But I think over the first 10 yards or so, I think Jesus is a little bit sharper, got more trickery. Not the best finisher though, so yeah. But yeah, I would go with Jesus. Are we just talking about that one position or?
Whatever you want. Any other changes you make?
I'll bring Zinchenko in. I know that's a bit unpopular. I think, I think he gives us more with the ball. We need to score a couple of goals today because I do think that Spurs might end up getting one. So we might need to score 2 or 3 to win this game. And I just think that with him inverting in midfield, our attacking threat is more pronounced. I mean, I know his defensive liabilities, so yeah, I know people might look at that and think, But yeah.
There are rumours that's going to be Johnson starting on the right for Spurs, which, being a right-footed outlet on that side, he might go around the outside a little bit more of the fullback. He's done really well to get on the end of Timo Werner's cutbacks. It's one thing they do that weirdly we do with our wingers as well. They really hug the touchline.
But is it me, right? Let's keep it 100, yeah? So listen, I'm a fan of Tomiyasu here, but since he's come back, has anyone really seen a marked difference in terms?
I thought it was good against Chelsea.
I thought Madueke spun him, bro, in that first half.
A few times, but we were playing
2 or 3 times.
We were pressing high and we were front-footed, so there's always going to be space in behind. And Chelsea have got pace, but I think just physically, I think putting Tommy up against Johnson today.
Yeah.
Johnson's quite a small guy, skinny guy.
He's nippy. He's not strong.
I would put Tommy on Johnson. Just say first 5 minutes, assert tell him you're here. Make sure he doesn't want to run past you. Whereas Zinchenko, if he's getting into midfield, Johnson's confidence is going to go up and up of getting in behind.
I have to say, I'd go Tommy. One thing, I've sort of, with all the injuries he's had, we've got actually quite a lot of insight into this. But like, he does take a while to come back from his injuries. He doesn't. I remember seeing him pre-season, and it was Anthony that was cooking him in that game.
Do you think he's been at his best though? Let's keep it real.
No, but I'm explaining that now, Laurie. Like, he hasn't. But do you remember in December, his form was phenomenal.
Yeah.
His form in November, or maybe he got injured beginning of December. His form in October, November was phenomenal. He started a few games right back in the Champions League, so Ben White could come out of the team.
Yeah.
He was that good.
Yeah.
And then the debates were, well, if Timber comes back, does White start in this team? That's how good Tomiyasu can be. And I felt in the second half against Chelsea, once we actually got more control of the game, because first half, I know we had a lot of chances, I know we were 1-0 up. I actually don't think Arteta would have been that happy with the first half against Chelsea. I think he thought you gave them a lot of transition moments, a lot of balls that went across the box that, had they got a run or something, would have hurt us. And then we didn't take our chances. I think there were 3 big things really that he would have been happy with. Second half we got control, and it was Tomiyasu who was like winning that ball high up the pitch in the press at times, intercepting, keeping them pinned in. And when he does that better than most, because he's a 6'2" athlete who's good with both feet. Like, he is perfect for that kind of thing. So I think he starts, but I take Laurie's point. He's not in best form yet. We're gambling on him getting to that in this game a little bit.
Yeah.
The only other.
Like, you can rely on him more though. That's the thing. That's the main.
I'd like to see Partey in the middle as well, because I think
Partey
that works well. He's got to start. Yeah.
It's got to be Partey.
Knowing our luck,
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes Jorginho.
Knowing our luck, Tommy and Partey probably picked up knocks yesterday in training.
Do you know, Turkish? If Partey had looked 6 out of 10 against Chelsea, I'd have gone, yeah, all right, you're still getting into it. We'll go Jorginho for this one. Because he looked so good, and I do think he looked really good in that game. I feel like he's got to be ready.
And it's not even that, because he did look good, but it's how Declan Rice and Odegaard looked as well with him there.
Yeah, you're so right.
That was 2 of their best performances of the season.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So all 3 of them as a unit, finally, well, we saw good things.
As a fan base, we've been crying out for that trio, haven't we?
Yeah.
It was the last 15 against Fulham, Wolves as well. When Partey came on and Rice saw Rice get forward and get on the ball.
Yeah.
And then obviously the whole game against Chelsea, it makes such a difference.
It does.
I saw an interview with Trossard the other day, and they said to him, who's the most underrated player at Arsenal? And he said Thomas Partey. He said when he's playing, the whole team feels more like a team. You just know he's there. He's just always, the way he presses high, he doesn't lose the ball.
Zini had him as the best 6 he's ever played with, didn't he?
There you go. Yeah, compared him to Rodri.
I think in an interview, and I have never played with either. On the eye, Rodri, for me, is the better one, and fairly comfortably, actually, when you look at availability, clutch moments, everything. But there's no doubt when Partey is fit and at his best, he does look like he's playing at a level above everyone else on the pitch when he is on it. He's got that ability to, 2 players come to press him, he's received with his back to goal, and he just opens the pitch up. You're like, how did you do that? And he does it so effortlessly. It amazes me he gets that injured that often, because I'm like, you never look like you're really pushing it. Yeah. And actually that's been a criticism of the running last season. We're like, why don't you like you're chasing and trying? Obviously he is, like no one's questioning his work rate, but it's that kind of smooth nature in which he plays the game. When he is on it, you see, everyone else respond. Granit Xhaka able to get forward and get goals and assists with Partey deeper. That is what I keep thinking. The thing to unlock Zinchenko is having more of a Partey next to him when he inverts, but also having Martinelli and all the, and the right 8. And when all those components are there, suddenly what Zini can offer us goes up a level. He's had to do it recently with not the same as last season around him. So we will see. So there are strong rumours apparently that Partey, Trossard and Tomiyasu are all starting, so we'll keep an eye on that. Super chat from Abdullah says, should be a rule in VAR where refs can only watch the... I lost it. Production, could you send it to me? From Abdullah. I lost it. Ibi says, win rate when Jesus is up top is much worse. I'd play him on the left, personally. 40 side says, last season we lost in batches of 4 or 5 games, seem to have reduced it to 2 or 3 games this season. Hopefully last week was our last dip of the season and we get the win today. The thing is as well though, that I've also been one to be really worried about these runs of bad games we go on. But like losing to Villa, we played really well in that first half and should have won. Bayern Munich, we drew at home. And I thought we did okay away. Like it wasn't the 3 bad results like in the past, where for 3-4 games we've looked clueless. I'm like, what has happened to this team? This just looked like one of those where the margins didn't go our way for 3 games. Yeah. And maybe I'm being too kind to the team.
I think you can pinpoint. Sorry, man. You can pinpoint moments that have really let us down. Yeah. In the last couple of weeks, I think the first half against Villa should have been 2-3-0 up. The Trossard chance absolutely should have scored. Which is where maybe if you've got a top class. Don't get me wrong, I love Trossard, I think he's a good player, but he's not top verging on world class. If you have a world class player there, they score. Yeah. And the same against Bayern in that first half, first 20 minutes. Playing so well, 1-0 up, Ben White has that chance. I don't blame Ben White, he's a right back in trying to shoot against Neuer.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But Gabriel, when he gives the ball away, you could blame Raya, you could blame Gabriel, you can blame Kirill. That mistake, naivety, inexperience, those moments, that half against Villa, and that first 20 minutes against Bayern literally could shape our season.
Yeah. I have got the super chat. I should screenshot it in time. Abdullah says, should be a rule in VAR where refs can only watch the replay in real motion or paused. That's how they make on-field decisions. Anyway, slow motion is deceiving. I actually agree with that. I know sometimes you have to slow it down to really see it, but I think the point is, when you're watching it live, if you're looking for clear and obvious, you need to be able to see it in the moment.
That's true. Yeah.
I feel the same with the offside. You know, I think there should always be like a 30-second countdown, or like a 1 minute.
Isn't there something coming in next season for offside?
Semi-automated, which will basically solve a lot of it. You know, they FIFA-ise it and then they
the
put
Champions League one.
Yeah, the Champions League one.
Nice. Yeah.
So that I think will be a massive help, because even if it isn't 100% scientifically correct, no one's going to argue with it because it's AI or
it
whatever.
It just looks right, isn't it?
Yeah,
massive.
Cool. That's how the computers did it. Some go against you, some go, whatever. But even with the way they do it now, and obviously it's not going to change because of what you said is coming in, I've always thought 30 seconds. If you can look and in 30 seconds you can see he's offside, right? Bam, line there, line. But if you're like, is it this bit or is it this bit, or is it that bit? And where do we?
Yeah.
If we pause the frame there or there? Did you see the one went viral a couple of days ago? It was the penalty Chelsea. I think it was a red card Romero got in the Chelsea-Tottenham game, the 4-1 earlier this season. And they looked at the Caicedo goal, they looked at the offside, then they went to Romero, they looked for the red card. Was it a red, was it a penalty as well? They checked so much, I was like, if it takes this long, roll with on field. But
I've got to say though, right, and I know I might be speaking against the grain a little bit, but I'm in favour of VAR. I know it's not perfect, I know there's been issues, I know about the length of time and stuff like that, but for me, I think if you look at it, and I think statistically it's been proven as well, they get more decisions right than they get wrong. I just think if you've got technology available that's going to enhance the game.
Has it enhanced the game?
In terms of getting more decisions right than not, then I think, yeah.
Has it enhanced the game?
In terms of getting more decisions right than wrong, I think definitely it has, yeah.
And the 11 is out. And it's unchanged, people. Raya starts in goal with White, Saliba, Gabriel and Tomiyasu in the back four. Rice, Partey, Ødegaard, Saka, Havertz and Trossard, arguably our most in-form 11 there as well. Ramsdale is on the bench with Zinchenko, Kivior and Jorginho, Vieira, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Jesus and Nketiah there as well. So players on the bench that can definitely do something. We saw Jesus, Vieira, Martinelli, Jorginho and Zinchenko all come on in the 5-0 win against Chelsea. We'll get the Tottenham team up, but are we all happy with that, or is anyone surprised, or what's the general feeling?
No, I'm happy with that. I mean, the last game we smoked Chelsea 5-0, arguably one of our best performances of the season. You can't blame the manager for keeping the same team. I would have made a couple of changes, but hey, listen, one thing I'm going to say here and now, if we don't win today, or if we drop points, I'm not going to be revisionist and say, oh, the manager got the team selection wrong. So I'm putting that out there now.
Sure.
That team should be enough to get the job done.
Starting 11 for Tottenham. Vicario in goal. He's been very good for them this season. Pedro Porro likewise, with Romero, Van der Ven and Davis in for the injured Udogie. Højbjerg and Bentancur are the two in midfield. Wow. And we'd heard about this, didn't we? With Maddison, Kulusevski, Son and Werner. Now you might be asking, what do I mean we heard about this? Well, we were at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Ryan, Turkish and Cecil and I, and someone said to us that he'd heard there might be, that Højbjerg could be playing this game and that there'd be a specific job to do with Ødegaard. He's in the 11. That's looking like pretty good information now. What do we think of that?
That's their first choice midfield is Sarr and Basuma. So for them to be starting Bentancur and Højbjerg, it tells you they're doing something.
I think when they're
different.
all fully fitting at their best though, Bentancur is their best of those options. I think he's the best player there. Yeah. But you're right, it has been Basuma and Sarr this season. It was Basuma and Sarr, I think, at the Emirates, and they played really well.
Yeah, they did.
But Højbjerg, what do we make of this? Is this?
Well, I was chatting to Abby the other day, and she was saying that she's not really rated Basuma recently.
No, Tottenham fans aren't happy with him at all.
You know.
Do you think they're going to do the same thing that they normally do then, like we all expect? Because I'm thinking that their front four. Who's the front four? Maddison, Kulusevski,
Son and Werner.
And Werner as well,
Johnson.
yeah.
So Richarlison on the bench and Johnson on the bench. I thought it was going to be Richarlison and Johnson starting for Werner and Kulusevski. So I thought they were going to play with more, say, Son and Johnson really high and wide to kill us.
I've got a feeling they're going to try hit us on the counter, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
With that four in attack, because Werner's just chaos. So you're not looking to peg us back with Werner in all in one half. You're not going to get the best of Werner.
Werner brings pace, really.
But if you're trying to, and then they haven't got the athleticism they normally have in the middle to be able to stop between the lines, but they've got more technical ability. I could see them trying to soak it up and hitting us, trying to go. You know what Bayern did to us in the first half? Sane and so on.
This goes back to why I was advocating for Zinchenko, because as soon as I saw that Tottenham 11, I thought to myself, especially with Werner in it, I agree with Turkish, it's going to be a pace thing, ball over the top. That means I would suggest that Arsenal are probably going to see more of the ball in terms of possession. And when you have more possession, you want your playmakers or the guys that can do a bit more with the ball. But anyway, all that's redundant now because we know that Zinchenko's not playing. But it's interesting that they got Werner up there. That suggests to me they're going to try and utilise his pace on the wing.
You know how I feel seeing that team as well? Confident, man.
Really?
Arsenal is seeing Spurs. We're so much better than them. Man for man, we're so much better than them. Stylistically, we're so much better than them.
I agree.
Form, we're so much better than them.
Production, do not put the wide angle on, please.
No, I know what.
No, but you know what? I agree with you.
But
I
like,
agree with you.
Their team has surprised me a little bit. I can't lie.
But at the start of the season, not now.
No,
they just
today.
got battered 4-0 by Newcastle.
Yeah, but this team they brought out today, it looks like they're going to go for the counter-attack. So we need to be mature in our performance, because it is a way, and Tottenham in a North London derby, White Hart Lane, it's an intimidating, it can be loud, they can, drive Tottenham forward. I can't like with that team, we've got to be, on our
I'll tell you what's also interesting about that team,
do.
right? It kind of gives you a sort of clue into the sort of philosophy of the manager here, because all season, they've been playing this high line, they've been going for it, and Tottenham fans and pundits and people like that have been saying maybe Postecoglou needs to tinker a bit more, make them a little bit more defensively responsible, and he's always said, no, this is the way I play, it's what we're going to do. Now, you're seeing a slight variation, seemingly, in the 11, which suggests that with Højbjerg in there, they want to tighten things up a bit. So, yeah.
Udogie missing is also a big miss for them. He's been brilliant for them. I think with Davis in the side, they're going to have to sit back a little bit more, because obviously he hasn't got the legs and the pace that Udogie has, and he's not as good on the ball. So,
could it just be Postecoglou and Tottenham would approach the game as they always do? It's just slightly more pragmatic, in the same way that if Tomiyasu comes in for a game over Zinchenko, I'm not thinking, we're parking the bus today. I'm thinking, okay, cool. He just wants Tomiyasu to add a layer of cover that we don't have with Zinni, but otherwise the game plan will be the same. I think Højbjerg and Bentancur, I don't think it's going to be as expressive as Basuma and Sarr, who I think are brilliant, although form and all that, I get it. but maybe we'll still play our football, we'll still invert our fullbacks, we'll still get high up the pitch. However, I just need a little bit more, defensive security when we do concede possession to Arsenal. I do just want to be that little bit more sturdy. I mean, Højbjerg, he's divided opinions. He's got to Tottenham. He had some okay moments, had some good runs of form, but not pulled up trees. Had to sign 3 other midfielders since signing him. So, yeah, I don't know.
He's in there to give them a bit more stability, to make them a bit more defensively responsible, and I think that is an ode to how attacking.
Think of a man like Ødegaard.
I think it was certainly. I mean, whether he can keep up with Martin Cardio is a different thing.
Martin Cardio.
Yeah, that's what I call him.
Yeah, he is Martin. When you go to
that
games,
guy,
you especially realise how much he runs.
He's one of my favourite players, not just in Arsenal, the whole Premier League to watch.
On the Spurs lineup as well, it wouldn't surprise me to see Kulusevski drop in a lot more, and Werner and Son kind of play as 2 strikers getting in behind. Because otherwise they're going to get overrun in midfield. You can't just have Maddison staying forward and Højbjerg and Bentancur
they
in
invert
midfield.
their fullbacks a lot, so I just can't.
I don't think without a doggy, I don't think they'll do it as much today.
Really?
And I know Porro likes to get forward, but he doesn't really invert into midfield. He just kind of gets up and down.
He does quite central areas though, man. Porro is a sort of a secret weapon for them a little bit, because he's got a good passer, he's got a good delivery. He can hit them from distance. But look, this is a reminder of the Spurs 11. Fakara in goal, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Davis. Højbjerg comes in, surprising, with Bentancur, Maddison, Kulusevski, Son and Werner is the front 4. We've got some super chats to go through. Bilal says, the Premier League TV put Adebayor as a pundit for this game. Wonder who he's supporting.
Is he? Wow.
What else have we got? Other super chats I missed from earlier, apologies. Hanksy says, Zinchenko's too loose, Tomiyasu is solid, Trossard top finisher, has to start, worried Jesus and Martinelli will cause a drop-off in performance, like in the Chelsea game, I think he's alluding to when they came on. But you got the 11 you wanted. He-Man says, Turkish love the top, man's on the AFC shop.
This is old actually. This is quite old.
Oh, fair enough. Ollie says, if we beat Tottenham today, can we just make sure not to give them lasagna before their game against City? Yeah, no, let's not feed Tottenham anything before that. We're going to need them in tip-top shape. Either way, really going into that. All right, the Arsenal 11, it's unchanged. Raya in goal with White, Saliba, Gabriel, Tomiyasu in the back 4. Rice, Partey and Ødegaard, the midfield we've wanted to see all season. We saw it against Chelsea and it looked good. Saka, Trossard and Havertz is the front 3. Havertz, can he build on that second half against Chelsea with the 2 great goals he scored? And can we also just have that similar performance and try take our chances and try be efficient? A reminder of what's on the line today. Of course, winning extends our lead to the top, though City will have 2 games in hand. One of them comes away at Nottingham Forest, where they dropped points last season, straight after this game. A repeat of these 2 results when they drew at Forest and we won 2-0 last season would be fantastic today, we can only hope. But added to that, it would be St Tottenham's Day today if we were to win this, which is the finishing above Tottenham in the Premier League confirmation day. Let's hope we get it done. But added to that, I think Champions League football would be officially confirmed. So, hey, a lot can be done today with 3 games to spare after this one. So let's see. Everyone, hit the like button if you enjoyed this stream. Come join us 15 minutes before kickoff for all the pre-match nerves and reaction to every kick of a ball with me, Laurie, Turkish and Christian Tai, and I believe the information station, the Frank, will be with us as well. It's the North London derby. It's a big one, you all know it is, but there's so much more on the line than just Derby Day. Catch you all in a bit.